Hi, everyone, and welcome to this Crystal Chat with Caroline Jalango and myself, Krista Lynn. We are so excited to be sharing information on crystals. Our topic of discussion today is crystals with flashes and why we love them. So I'm Krista Lynn, crystal healing therapist, as well as teacher of crystal healing classes, and I'm here with Caroline Jalango.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi. Nice to be here with you, and I'm so happy that you've coordinated this event and we are here together talking about crystals with flashes and why we love them. Yay!
Yeah, it's excellent to have you here, and it's excellent to be talking about this topic. I feel it's quite an important topic.
Yeah, it sure is, especially at this time where I feel like crystals with flashes are so important because light workers and people who are awakening and who are coming into consciousness are learning and discovering and getting activated to shine. So it's very important for us to now have this conversation about working with crystals with flashes. And I'm so excited to share this with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely an exciting time, and it's so beautiful to be able to discuss crystals, with you and to share this with everyone who's watching because, crystals really bring people together in a special way. So, Caroline, I would love for you to share a little bit about how we met and how crystals brought us together.
Oh my gosh, this is a pleasure. Krista, I'm so happy to have this opportunity, at least to do something with you on crystals. And I'm forever grateful for our friend Slavi. Hi, Slavi, wherever you are. Because Slavi introduced us, we do the Crystal Lovers Google Hangout, and we usually get in touch with people who love crystals to have these communications. And this guy, Slavi, a wonderful, wonderful crystal lover, introduced Krista and I, and we've done a couple of crystal lovers Google Hangouts together. And it's just amazing how we're all approaching this time of ascension and awakening and consciousness building within us through crystals, and how crystals are bringing us together to have conversations that are helping us evolve, grow, and expand in different ways. So that is basically how Krista and I met. She has a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where we share our passions about crystals. And for us to come together is just such a wonderful thing because this is the unity that we're talking about at this time. This is the love of our hearts coming together to bring this message out to everybody so we can all remember that we can truly, truly come together, unite and grow and expand, and just really spread and share the love of crystals to help each other and to help everyone else out there remember who they truly are. So it's a pleasure, Krista. I love you, and forever in our hearts, you and everyone else, all the crystal lovers who are here at this time remembering because of these beauties. Thank you so much for at least organizing this. I'm glad.
Yeah, you're welcome, and lots of love to you too. And yeah, this topic is a really important topic, as we were mentioning, and it kind of came out of our last Google Hangout as we were, sharing different insights about different crystals. And I really feel that working with crystals that have flashes in it, flashes of light, flashes of color, is a really important tool to be working with for personal growth. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. So before we really dive into this topic, I just want to show a little bit of some examples of different crystals that have flashes in them. So most of these crystals that I'll show are feldspar type of crystals, such as labradorite, etc., that have different displays of colors. And when I see these crystals, I get so excited because it's like different flashes of color, like it's almost like paint splatters of iridescent, colors in these crystals, and it's amazing. So we'll start with a common one, and so I'll just show some of mine, and then Carolyn, you can show some of yours. The most common one, labradorite. So this is a really beautiful piece of labradorite with a blue-green kind of flash in it. The back has a little bit more gold. You can see little bits of gold there. So that's one of that. This is another feldspar that is from Ontario. The name is peristirite. It is similar to labradorite, and it has flashes of really soft iridescent colors. So you can kind of see it, here. So there's an example of that. Moonstone is another common one. I have a piece of peach moonstone here that has a silver flash. Hopefully the camera picks it up, but it's got like a silver flash here. Turn it around. You can see just that really light color silver flash.
Yeah.
Rainbow moonstone, which I have a very small piece. We'll see if we can see the colors there. This is rainbow moonstone. It has gold, a little bit of gold and blue, and some green, but a little bit hard to see in the light. We have hypersthene, which is a black stone with a flash of silver. So it's like, now you see it, now you don't. That's the thing about these flashes. It's like you look at it one way, you see the colors, you look at it from another angle, and the colors are not there. This one is an interesting piece of blue and gold tiger eye in one stone. It's very pretty, so you can see the gold here, the blue on this side. I'll show the other side of it. It's got more blue. And again, it's like you look at it one way, you don't see it. You look at there, you see it, right? And black moonstone is another moonstone that has nice silver flash. This one shows up really well. I love this piece.
Yeah.
And rainbow obsidian. So it's black obsidian with rainbow colors in it. This one has stripes of green and purple. You can kind of see them there if I hold it this way, so you can see. And then last but not least, or maybe I should say second last, piece of numite with golden flash in there. It's got a little bit of green blue, but mostly gold flecks. And I think an honorable mention of a certain crystal. This one's lepidolite. This is a rough piece of lepidolite, and it's essentially got, you know, mica in there, silver mica, and it has these flashes of silver. So I really like working with this stone a lot. So those are the ones in my collection that just shows you different examples of crystals with flashes. So Caroline, how about you tell us a little bit more about which crystal you like to work with that has flash in it and how you work with that?
Okay. First of all, I love your collection. That's just a good variety, and at least someone has a piece of what you have somewhere in the collection. So it's good that you brought out all those pieces and mentioned them by name. Very beautiful pieces. For me, I'm going to be talking and focusing on labradorite and numite, only because I know that labradorite is a crystal that so many people have. At least everybody has labradorite. So pretty. So I'm going to show you a few of the pieces that I have. So this is my very, very, very favorite one. It's so beautiful. The blue color is very, very prominent. And then I have this other one. It's a grayish, greenish labradorite piece, but you can see the blue that comes from within it. But it's not really a clear flash, and I'll explain a little bit more in depth after I've shown you these pieces. So this is my favorite crystal, Owl Siri. I love it, labradorite. And then I have my little crystal heart that's broken. But the reason I love this is because it has a gold flash inside it that really has the shape of a love heart. I mean, the camera is not doing these things justice, so don't trust that, but it's really beautiful. Trust me. And then I have another piece here. It's really tiny, but it's mostly gold flashes. Love that very, very much. So those are my labradorites. And then there's another piece that I love, but it has this violet flash on it. It's just, I can never seem to capture it on camera, but this thing.
Right, yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so beautiful, violet flash. Oh, you know, for my third eye. So let me talk about labradorite first. You know, the reason why I love this labradorite crystals with flashes, in the beginning, when I started working with labradorite, it was to help me shine my face or put my face in the spotlight. That was the reason why I really started working with these crystals in the beginning, because I was very shy in the beginning and I needed to see how to turn my angles, how to work my angles so I could bring my face in the spotlight. So this might be very important for anybody who's trying to come out. And it doesn't mean it, I don't mean it in an egoistic way. I mean it in a sense of you coming out of yourself and bringing your work forward, your joy forward, your message forward. And sometimes you need a way and an angle or you need to work your angles in a way that brings you out in the spotlight, in whichever way. And anyway, these days, you got to do what you got to do. Don't care about what anyone thinks. Bring out the work of your heart, because this is why we're here today. And like I said in the beginning, the reason why most of us are getting drawn and activated to work with crystals with flashes is because most of us are now called upon to shine our lights. And crystals with flashes are really here to bring that message to help light workers and everyone else who's trying to bring the message of awakening and ascension forward, that it's time to shine your light. And if you don't know how, working with crystals like these will enable you to shine your light. So you know what, if you have a crystal with a flash, remember that it's not a mistake that you have that crystal, because that crystal is probably bringing that message out that, you know, you're hiding your light and that light needs to shine. So that's the first thing, or the second thing I want to say. So the third thing, I don't know how many things I'm going to say, is when you have crystals with flashes like labradorite, for me, the way I work with them is to focus on the dominant color of the crystal. So this crystal, this labradorite, has blue as the dominant color. So for me, the message here is the throat chakra. If the blue is the dominant color, blue is the color of the throat chakra, the message probably is for you to learn how to shine your light through the expression of your truth, through the expression of your gift, through authenticity, through truth, because this is the color of the blue in your throat chakra. So there's never any mistake why we So if you have a blue dominant color on your labradorite or any crystal with a flash, think about the throat chakra, think about authenticity, think about your truth, think about your creative expression, however it is that you do it. No, that's what it is. If you have a crystal like Siri by labradorite, it's grayish, greenish, dull. But inside this crystal, you know, this is not really an attractive piece to look at. I mean, the owl is really beautiful, but it's not really like flashy like this other one.
Yes.
So the message for me in this working with a crystal like this one is that it doesn't matter how you look on the outside. The inside has a light that needs to come out. So for me, it's very important when working with a crystal like this one to remember that I might look dull on the outside. I might look like something that you don't even expect, but watch out, because inside me, when I work with the things, the intuition, the wisdom that lies within, there truly is something inside us. So working with a crystal like this, even if you have a dull piece of labradorite, I mean, don't put it to the side just because it doesn't look all fancy. Remember that inside it, the message is for you to work with what's inside you to allow you to shine. And sometimes you might look plain on the outside, but who knows what's on the inside. When you begin to really, really activate that power, everybody better be on notice that you are approaching the scene. That's how it is. So I love this crystal for those kinds of things. And I also love the greenish element because it truly represents the abundance of who we are. And not abundance in terms of money, not abundance in terms of green, but abundance of the fullness of the energy within us that flows in and out. So working with crystals like these, the green labradorite always represents that energy of abundance. And even if it doesn't look like anything out there, the inside looks like no one's business.
Yes.
And then, just to close on this topic quickly, if you have a crystal that has violet like this one, it basically represents the spiritual aspect for you. If your labradorite has a flash of violet, the intuitive senses, this is the reason why it's in your life. Work with your intuition, work with your inner senses, your psychic senses. So work with the dominant color of the crystal that you have. If you have a lot of gold, then you probably want to work on the solar plexus chakra, expanding yourself internally. And then also don't forget to work with the shape of the crystal. If the shape of the crystal is a heart, obviously there's always a reason. Everything is a symbol. If you're working with a crystal with a flash and it has a heart, think about it, the heart chakra and everything else. If you're working with something like Siri, the owl represents wisdom. Think about the flash of wisdom and the insights that come from it. And you know, the flashes are basically all about intuition, about those brief moments of just insight and flashes that take you to a different kind of level. So that's all I have to say about labradorite at this point. And then maybe you'll say something and then I'll talk about Nuumite later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Caroline. I just want to add, I love what you said, and I just really want to add what something that you were saying about labradorite. And yes, the color is important, and I just want to say a little bit about shyness. And I'm so happy you talked about the shyness,
Yeah.
because for me, I'm also really, really shy, and it's so funny that we both have that shyness, and then we both have YouTube channels. you know and it's interesting because for labradorite, I gravitate towards the blue flash labradorite as opposed to gold or green, or the golds, greens, or even purples. I have some that have purple. So this really helped me to get out of that shyness, to be a speaker, not only for YouTube, but to speak in front of groups, to be a teacher, and teach in front of students. And it's really, really been helping me. I actually wear labradorite every day. So today I've got earrings on, but I either wear, and then I do have my pendant on, my labradorite. And this one has flashes of blue. I'm always wearing labradorite in some form, even if it's just a stone, a small tumbled stone in my pocket. I always have that. Yeah. And I love what you said about when the labradorite might not have a lot of flash on the outside, but it's what's in the inside. And, really helping us to shine our true colors and our authentic self in our life, and sharing our gifts and our talents and our abilities. I had this piece of labradorite, a tumbled stone that had like no flash. I don't even know why I got it from the store, because it had no flash. And when you look at the labradorite, when it has lots of flash, it's really beautiful, right? But something told me, get this one that has no flash. And then, a few weeks went by, and I dropped it onto the tile floor, and it cracked open. And then inside, where it was rough, I held it to the light, and there was the most beautiful flash. And what that crystal taught me in that moment is, not to be afraid to really show those brilliant colors in life, to be able to share your authenticity, to share your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. Don't keep them hidden in life. Share them. That's what they're there for. And so that really taught me something in that moment. Like it can look dull on the outside and we can appear one way, but there's those beautiful colors, and just allowing them to shine and radiate them into the world is so important. One other thing that I work with labradorite for, I sleep with it under my pillow at night, and it helps me have the most vivid dreams, the most vivid dreams. And then in the morning, what I'll do is I'll take the labradorite out from my pillow, and I'll just sit in meditation, and I will gain deeper understanding and flashes of insight to what that dream meant. Because sometimes dreams can be filled so much with symbolism, and sometimes we get that information of what it means right away, and sometimes we don't get that meaning right away. So I will sit in the morning when the dream is fresh, and I'll hold my labradorite, and I'll just kind of close my eyes and just tune into the dream and just say, what do I need to know? What's the message in this? And then I'll get those flashes of insight. So I love working with labradorite for that.
Yeah, no, wait, just upon hearing you mention about the dream thing, I just remembered something. Labradorite is truly a powerful dreamstone. I mean, I came to this realization when I had like a neck pain. Maybe sometime in December of last year, I had this terrible neck pain, and at that time, I got this information to put the labradorite on my neck, and when I did that, I realized that the pain, the tension, the energy accumulation on my neck eased greatly. And within that time, I also realized how much we are getting activated in the mouth of God chakra, which is at the base of the skull, in the back of your head, because I realized that I was being guided to place that labradorite stone. Actually, it's this big crystal, just to place it at the back of my neck. And I'm telling you, try it. If you have any crystal, and tape it to the back of your head, or if you have a nice piece like this one, and place it at the back of your head where there is the mouth of God chakra, which is a portal that is being activated for many of us light workers at this time, because there's an energy that opens up and allows you to get into a multi-dimensional dream experience, and you can literally feel this sensation. I'm not sure, maybe it's just me who really gets into these kinds of things, but when I placed the stone or the crystal here on at the back of my head, I felt myself entering into this space. And that's the time when I realized consciously that this chakra in the back of my head was getting activated. I mean, it's always been there and I've always known about it, but I've never really been conscious about it. So for those people who want to enter into the dream experience in a very multi-dimensional manner, try working with labradorite. At the back of your head, you can at least during meditation, or you can tape the piece at the back of your head and think and feel how what you notice, you know, feel the experience. If you have neck tensions or accumulation of energy anywhere around your neck, try working with labradorite to ease that. And maybe another reason you would be feeling neck pain or having neck tension is because the mouth of God chakra is being activated, and that's calling for you to pay attention to that area of that chakra that's coming online for most of us at this time. And
Yes.
It's very helpful for dreamers and people who want to have dream recall, because this is the astral portal. There's just something special about it. So just, observe for yourself. Work with your labradorite. There's people who want to remember things through dreaming, people who want to astral travel, people who want to experience themselves in a multi-dimensional manner in a very conscious way. Try working with the mouth of God chakra, the zeal of God chakra that's at the back of your skull, and maybe work with labradorite for that.
Yes.
So it's something that came to me.
Yes. And it's so interesting, Caroline, because we both had neck problems and neck tension. And I actually was working with my galaxite wand, which is also another crystal that's got flashes in it. And what you're saying about the mouth of God chakra is really relevant. So I took this, I was having neck pain right at the base of the neck, right where that mouth of God chakra is. And I put the wand back here and I was just gently massaging with the intention that this wand was absorbing and clearing out any densities in that chakra, unwanted energy, so that the chakra could be cleansed and purified and strengthened and more vibrant. Yeah. And as I was doing that, the neck tension cleared. It didn't take long, and then it felt really, really good. So it's interesting, and maybe some people watching the video, they might have been experiencing some neck tension lately as we are ascending and evolving and our energies are refining and we're holding more light. And this is what I also love about, the crystals with flashes. I'm just going to see here. I'm just going to grab my black moonstone. And I'll show it again, this one here. And another way that I really like working with crystals with flashes is I will either work with black moonstone or sometimes labradorite for this. And sometimes we can hold negative projections in our aura, in our energy fields. And these negative projections sometimes can be self-created, negative beliefs that we're holding, or sometimes people project negative beliefs upon us of who they think we are, which might not be who we actually are in truth. Yeah. And then we're carrying that energy and we're kind of reflecting that back out into the world, and then we can interact with other people that will then validate that negative belief. Oh. So when I work with crystals and flashes, either labradorite or the go-to one I work with is black moonstone, to cleanse myself of those negative energies and projections, so that my true self can shine through my aura out into the world, rather than having other people see these false negative beliefs that are not my true self. So I work with it for that purpose. And also black moonstone, I like to work with this one to help me to release burdens. So if I'm carrying any kind of burden, some type of stressful burden from the past, thinking about something too much that happened last week or 10 years ago, or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes, different friendships will, end, and you know, we'll move out. Sometimes the friendship might have served a certain purpose, and then, you know, the friendship ends. I work with Black Moonstone to help release those things in my life. So releasing anything that I'm carrying that's not serving me, releasing any burdens that I might be carrying that are not serving me. So it helps me to let go of these burdens. I'll just label them as burdens in a flash. Because sometimes as people, and even for myself, I speak for myself, sometimes I tend to hold on to things a little bit longer than I should. And when I start doing that and recognizing, oh, wait a sec, you know what? I've been holding on to this for too long, whether it's clutter in the house or an item I don't need, or thinking about a situation from the past that, you know, has ended and I'm still trying to analyze it or something like that. And, you know, those things are not useful, because when we hold on to things longer than we should, it can steal our energy and it can dim our light. So I'll start to work with these crystals to help me let go of that in a flash, whether it's a burden or a negative projection that's been projected upon me, so that essentially I can be my authentic self, my true self, and hold more light, just like all of these beautiful crystals hold so much light. And then I return back to that state of balance. So I really love that. And holding those densities, projections, or burdens also steals physical energy and stamina as well. So I will work with these crystals that have flashes to also give me an energy boost, help to regain my stamina, help to have physical energy so that I can do what I need to do on a daily basis or weekly basis and accomplish things. So I really love working with these crystals with flashes in that way. And, you know, the other thing that I will work with, another aspect that I will work with, and I'll show this tiger's eye again, is that really working with these crystals for flashes of insight. And you already sort of touched on that, Caroline, you know, these flashes of insight, flashes of intuition. Anytime I need to make a decision or solve a problem, or I'm working on a creative project and I need that flash of inspiration and creativity, I will take out a crystal that has a flash in it so that I can receive those flashes of insight. And, you know, when I look at these crystals with flashes, you look at it one way, you don't see the color flash, you turn it and you see the color flash. And kind of like what you touched upon before, it's like those shifts in perspective. So even if I'm making a decision, you know, I could make this decision or this or this or this, and you have all of these different options that are available. It's like, which one's the right one? You know, your mind can go back and forth. Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do this? Do I do that? Which one? And then it can create confusion, right? You get so confused and you don't know what decision to make, and then you just shut down. So I like to work with the crystals with flashes to help me see those different perspectives of what my options are, and then really work with my own intuition and have flashes of my own intuition of what is right. You know, what's the right direction? What's the right decision? And I'll just sit in meditation with those stones and just sort through it, see those different perspectives, you know, in my mind, and then take it from there, make a decision, move forward. Anytime I'm doing creative work, if I'm sitting on the computer, or I like to do lots of other creative work too. I'm, you know, trained in music composition. I like different types of art forms. I'll work with a crystal that has flash in it to help tap into inspiration and channel that inspiration into whatever creative project that I'm working with. So I will pick up, you know, the crystals that either have blue flashes in it or violet when I work with that. And sometimes flashes of gold too, but I will usually work with the blue-violet spectrum if I'm working on a creative project. And I find it really helpful, really, really, really helpful in those situations.
Yeah, and now that you're on the topic of using crystals with flashes for your creative projects, let me just talk a little bit about Nuumite. Oops, I wonder where my piece is. Okay. I don't know. I have a Nuumite wand, which I can't even find at this point. Hold on. Okay, here. Here you go. This is my favorite Nuumite wand.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about using crystals with flashes for creative purposes. Nuumite actually has taught me this lesson. I mean, I know that Nuumite is a very magical crystal, and the magic comes because it has that creative power. And you know, in the recent months, I've been thinking about and working with Nuumite for creation purposes. You know, for those who have maybe some idea about the biblical way in which creation started, or I don't know what, yeah. If you if you're from that kind of mindset, or you know that in the beginning they said that when God was about to create the earth, everything was in darkness. And then he said, let there be light. And then there was light. So in the beginning, basically, things were dark. And so Numite reminds me of that darkness, and then let there be light. And then you see all these flashes of insight. So there was that creative power that emerged from the darkness. And there was let there be light, and light came, and then these other creative things happened. So for anyone who's working with, who wants to create something, or who is in a void, or who is feeling blank and in that black space, when you work with a crystal like Numite, it reminds you of that power. It holds such potential of creation. And that's where the magic comes from. Because out of that darkness, out of that blankness, out of that void, out of that dark space where you don't even know what's happening, everything is black. A flash of insight. In one moment, you can declare, let there be light, and then something's going to happen. And that's the magic of Numite. So I work with Numite for creative processes, because I know that out of the darkness, there is a light, a brilliant insight, a flash moment that can lead to extra things and creations in your life that come out of a dark space. So don't be afraid of dark spaces, because within those dark spaces, one little flash of insight can really create and create. Look at the world now, no matter where it came from. Look at the world now. It all emerged from a dark space, and a flash of light, let there be light. And that's basically what we are as human beings at this time. Most of us feel like we are in this dark space that we really probably have no purpose, or maybe we are not really clear about it. But this is the time when we are all being called to announce ourselves and say, let there be light. Let there be Krista, let there be Caroline, let there be everyone else who's watching this video, because we are the lights coming out at this particular time. So crystals with flashes are truly important at this time for everyone who is here on a mission, because we are not really here just for any other reason but to be light. And that's
yes.
The purpose. So Numite has taught me about the magic of creation, coming out of a dark space. Let there be light.
Yes, yes. And, when we think about different cultures, across time and space, there's lots of creation stories that start with the void, that blackness, the void, and out of it comes light. There's some creation stories that also say light and sound. Yes. And I love what you're saying about creation, because the void is the place that has all potential, all possibilities, and is filled with creative energy. Now, there was an article recently that was floating around on Facebook, a scientific article that was talking about creation in terms of human creation. So when, the egg and the sperm meet, it creates a flash of light. Oh. Yeah, and it's so amazing. And out of that flash of light is life, creates life. And then, the embryo starts to develop and grow. But right at that point of meeting is a brilliant flash of light, and they can actually photograph it.
Awesome.
So I don't know the name of that article, but it was floating around on Facebook. I'm sure if anyone is interested in that, they can Google it. I'm sure it will come up. But it's very interesting to think that we start off as a flash of light. And yes, we have these physical bodies, but we're essentially made of light. And, the crystals are a wonderful reminder of that light being held in the stone. And, even our bodies, we have a lot of crystalline structure in our bodies. Our cells contain crystalline, liquid crystals, and, our eye structures have that, our brain structures have that. And so not only are we light beings, but, our physical body in these structures hold crystalline light, as well. And the crystals are such a wonderful reminder of that. And if we kind of take this, I like what you said about the darkness, don't be afraid of the darkness. I love that. And, when we see these crystals, a lot of them are dark, like some of them aren't, but a lot of them have that dark base and then the flashes of light. And, I think about the darker emotions, sadness and depression and, even anxiety and fear. And when I look at crystals with flashes, they're just so beautiful. It's like they're so joyful and so beautiful that to me they are, like a depression alleviator. It helps to get you out of those darker emotions back into the emotions that are filled with light, joy, happiness, love, gratitude.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm having a bit of a stressed out moment or feeling a little bit down, because it happens, we're human, we're going to have emotions, right? I will take out one of my crystals with flashes, and I'll just sit there and I'll just gaze into those flashes. And, those darker sort of moods or emotions just evaporate. It's like they just evaporate, because when you're looking at something that is so beautiful like that, it's cleansing the emotions, it's getting you out of that funk, and then, you're returning back to a state of balance, at least for me. So I speak for myself, that's one way that I like to work with them. And then, I'm in a more joyful state, a brighter state, a happier state. And it just reminds me, we go through life, we have the light, we also have the shadow, right? So this helps to restore balance and bring you back to that light if the shadow side is creeping in a little too much.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the when you're talking about the black moonstone and you talked about the shadow aspect, and I'm thinking, a friend of mine gave me this black moonstone crystal, which is really beautiful. And when you were talking about it, which I have to thank you for, is the way you mentioned how we can use these black crystals to remove the shadow aspect of things. And then that's the one thing. And then also, really, even if we look at the black crystals, have you ever seen any dark crystal or black crystal that makes you feel like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? There's always something beautiful about crystals, even though they are black or dark or, dense in some way. There's always a beauty and a light inside those crystals. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking right now that any crystal that is dark has a flash. Because when you look at a crystal that maybe I can't even remember, jasper or something, but even when I look at it, there is a light that comes in. So a crystal with a flash might not be one that's outwardly evident, because internally there's also a light inside a dark crystal. So basically, maybe what I'm saying is that even though we have some crystals which have a shine on the outside, there's some crystals that are dark, but there's a light inside them because you see the higher meaning inside those crystals. So basically, let's just say, maybe we can agree to disagree, but maybe let's just say that all crystals have flashes of light.
Yes, exactly. And I just was reaching behind me here to pull out a smoky quartz. And it's very interesting because for a long time in the early days when I was getting into crystals, I avoided black crystals, like dark crystals. I avoided them. I'm like, I don't want that. It's too black and dark. But, that was just my ego of not understanding about, these flashes of light. So I wanted to pull out a smoky quartz because I also avoided smoky quartz for a while because it was a darker one. And this one actually holds a lot of light. So even when I hold it up, it's very bright. And then there's flashes of rainbows inside this one. Right? So even though this doesn't have the iridescent, feldspar flashes of light like the labradorite and all of those, there's still a lot of light. So yes, we can, I agree with you. Yes, we can say that all crystals hold some type of light. Even if it's a dark stone that doesn't have those iridescent colors, when you hold it up, like even just black obsidian, it shines because it's very reflective. So it's still reflecting light in some way. So all crystals have these flashes of light, whether it's rainbows or the light showing up inside it or reflecting off of it. And it's really beautiful to think about that, in the larger picture.
Yeah, and even it's just the recognition of the heart. When we see the crystals with our heart, it doesn't matter whether they have an outer shine, because our heart recognizes the light inside of crystals. So then it becomes, all crystals have light, all of them have flashes, all of them are iridescent or whatever. So it's just such a beautiful thing, when you think about it.
Yes, I agree. And, and what I learned is, like you say, to approach the crystals and look at them through your heart center rather than looking at it through your ego, and being able to see what that crystal needs to show you, for your personal growth and development. And when you start to look at crystals and gemstones from your heart center in that way, it's amazing what you will see. It's amazing what you will tap into and what wisdom you'll gain about the stone or about yourself or about your life. And, this is why the crystals are such beautiful teachers, for us for that. So yes, all crystals, contain those beautiful flashes of color and light. It's amazing. Mm-hmm.
It's so nice. And then also when I think about it, I don't know, I just feel guided to say that we are all truly, truly are crystals. And we all have a light. Krista, you have a light, I have a light. Everyone who's watching or guided to watch this video definitely has a light. And this is the beauty of who we all are, you know? We are all crystals and we all have that light. And I love it when we all come together like this, because then the light becomes so much brighter, you know? We just activate each other and then we just spread the light all over the place. So
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, I like that word, activation. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, working with crystals, and, you know, if there's a crystal that you're meant to work with, it will become activated for you. You know, a lot of people talk about this, and it's true, because, you know, the light gets activated, your own light working with the crystal becomes activated, and all of us that gather in the crystal community, even us, you know, together, you and me doing this video, and everybody watching, all of our lights are becoming activated. And just like you say, we are shining brighter together. So it's really important, you know, that we come together as a crystal community. We're shining individual light, but we're also shining collective light. And I think that's something that is really special and quite magical and very beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so beautiful. So I'm really happy that we've had this conversation, and I know that so many people are going to benefit from it and see the inner light of this conversation. So remember, we're not looking at things about in a block of darkness. We are all seeing the inner light here. And it's just such a pleasure, Krista, and I'm happy that we're able to do this and, you know, to assist each other and to assist everyone else in this process of sharing the crystal light, because we are flashing, we are flashing lights like this. I love it.
Yeah, and it reminds me of labradorite, because, you know, one of the you know, folklore about it is it contains the energy of the northern lights, or the aurora borealis, those dancing lights that you see in the sky. And that's like us, you know, all of us here together in this crystal community are like dancing lights, sharing that light, sharing, you know, that love with other people. So I kind of like to think of us holding that light and being like dancing lights, you know, out in the world.
And that's the point. We're here to be lights, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Caroline, for being a part of this very special conversation. I have really enjoyed our conversation and our time together. And, you know, I also want to thank everyone for watching this video. It's been special to share this with all of you as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so enjoy working with your sparkly crystals, your sparkly friends, and enjoying working with the flashes of light in your crystals. And may all of you shine brightly as well.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, lots of love to everyone. Bye.